All right, the question today is, what do you think of tattoos and do you want to get one? So I think tattoos are kind of cool, but personally I probably would never get one just because there's nothing I really want enough to put on my body for forever. So I probably won't get a tattoo. Today we are finishing 10.6.2 circles and arcs. So we're going to find the circumference and the arc length of different arcs and circles. So circumference, you've probably done this before, is the distance around a circle. So your distance around a circle. The formula then is c equals 2 pi times the radius. So here r equals your radius. So on the example, if we have our center right here and going out, again, that would be the radius right there. We'll say this is 5 inches, and that's the radius. So if we wanted to find the circumference, we'd say 2 times pi times 5, and you can write your answer two ways. You can write it as 10 pi inches, this would be in terms of pi, or you can type it all into a calculator and get 31.41 inches. So your answer is going to depend on what the question asks. So if it asks in terms of pi, you want to write it with pi in it. If it asks for a decimal, you want to write the decimal. So then arc length is how long an arc is. We talked on the last one what the arc measure, that's the degree. Arc length would be in inches, like how long is the actual arc. So it's going to equal your central angle divided by 360 all times your circumference, or 2 pi r. So r again is your radius. So if we go over here to this example, let's say our center is O, and this can be A and B. This will be 30 degrees, and we'll keep this at 5 inches. So what we're trying to figure out is what is this length. So to enter it into the formula, our arc length of AB, or arc AB, would be 30 divided by 360 times 2 times pi times 5. And again, you can leave this in terms of pi or you can not. So in terms of pi, you type everything in except the pi, and you get 0.83 pi inches, or 2.618 inches. Again, what answer you use is going to depend on what the question asks you. So move this up a little bit. Does it want you to do it in terms of pi, or does it want it not in terms and just a standard decimal? So the last definition today is concentric circles, and these are just circles within another circle. So circles with the same center. So here, this would be the center, and then you have two circles around the same thing. Here, your arc measures are going to be the same. So if I draw a line out here and a line out here, we'll say this is A, B, C, and D. If this is 30, the measure of arc AB is 30, and the measure of arc CD is also going to be 30. So on to some examples. We want to figure out what's the circumference of these circles. So this first one here, again, circumference is 2 pi times the radius. So you want 2 times pi times 4.2. And here you can do 2 times 8, or 4.2, to get 8.4 pi meters. Or type it all into a calculator and get 26.39 meters for your answer. We go over to the other one. Here, instead of giving us a radius, it gives us the whole diameter. So one radius is going to be half the diameter. So the diameter equals 2 times the radius, or the radius equals the diameter divided by 2. So your circumference is 2 pi times 7, which is 14 pi inches, or 43.98 inches if you put it in a calculator. Next example. Here we want to figure out what is the arc length of each of the arcs shown in red, and then here it says leave your answer in terms of pi. So we're not going to type this all the way in. We're going to leave it just as something with pi. So if we go looking at A, we want this arc right here. So what's the measure of xy? So again, for arc length, we need the radius. Right now it's giving us the diameter. So the radius right here is going to be 8 because it's half of 18. So xy is going to be 90 over 360. The 90 comes from this angle right here of a nice 90 degree, times 2 pi times 8, because that's our radius. Now do 90 divided by 360 times 2 times 8, and that will give you 4, and then put the pi on the end, and you get 4 pi inches. If you type this in and got a decimal, you'll get 12.57, but again, it asked us in the instructions to leave our answers in terms of pi, so you don't want to type the whole thing in. All right, this one we want to find this arc. This one is going to be a major arc because it's greater than 180, so to name it, we need 3 letters. So I'm going to say this is arc xpy. You also could do ypx, it doesn't really matter. Here our measure is 240, so you want 240 divided by 360 times 2 pi, and then our radius here is 15, so times 15. So multiply 240 over 360 times 2 times 15, and you'll get 20, and then put the pi out front, and that's your answer. If you type this into a calculator, you should get 62.83 centimeters, but again, you want to leave it in terms of pi because that's what the question asks. So that's all of the notes. Here's the optional assignment if you would like to do it. Otherwise, you need to do the Math Excel 10.6 and the 10.6 check-in. All right.